Today we're going to be talking about what has lately become called the Zins grip. I don't know about the name, but hey, it's the grip I use and it's what's been coined. Anyhow, everybody's been taught grip, and as far as I'm concerned, they've been taught grip wrong, because somewhere along the line someone came up with this idea of grip alignment where you would hold the gun and the grip would align straight up your arm. Well, if I line up the gun in my grip and it's coming straight up my arm, if you look at it, is that aligned to my eye? No, the gun remains aligned to my arm, but it's not to my eye. So what do we have to do? We now have to break our wrist to align the gun to our eye. We just changed the grip that they said, hey, have the gun aligned up your arm to your shoulder. That doesn't make any sense to me. So instead of having grip alignment up your arm, if you hold the gun correctly, you should have grip alignment where the gun naturally rests and it comes to your eye. So now when you raise the gun, I don't need to move my wrist or break my wrist in order to find the front sight, or the dot if you're shooting a dot gun. So with that being said, how do we get that grip? First of all, if you notice all the fat down here in my hand behind the mainspring housing, that's bad. That's how you get the gun lined up your arm. What we want to do is have the gun canted in our hand a little bit so it aligns to our eye. All we're going to do is we're going to roll all that fat over to the side, get our grip, and now the gun naturally rests in that crease between your thenar, that's your thenar, and the fatty portion of the palm of your hand over here. Okay, so it's almost like ergonomically perfectly correct that the gun actually has a little wedge that the mainspring housing is now pressed in between. Now, one thing a lot of people don't consider is trigger finger is part of your grip. I mean, think about it. It's the only part of your grip that's actually moving. So there's got to be a lot of attention paid to where your trigger finger placement is. So if you get your grip, like I'm teaching you, you put your hand in, roll everything over there, then curl around, and your finger's sticking too far through or not far enough through, you got an issue. So what you need to do is figure out where your finger wants to be on that trigger. And it may mean you have to get a longer, shorter, fatter trigger, whatever the case may be. We're all different. Everybody's got different size hands. Look, little short, stumpy, fat fingers, okay? I shoot with very thin grips and a short trigger on my gun. Find out where you want your trigger finger placement to be, and then work around it and get the grip, leaving your trigger finger in the same place. If it's uncomfortable or you can't get to that position, then you're going to need to look into maybe changing out that trigger or changing out your grips. I mean, even if you have like one of those big swelled grip safeties on the back, that can affect your grip as well. You've got to have a consistent grip. It's got to be a firm grip. I was already a 2650 shooter when Chris Hill on the Marine Corps pistol team looked at me and said, Zins, you're good and all, but you don't know grip. And I was like offended, and I started focusing on the grip a little bit more. Next thing you know, I was breaking 2670. So grip is key. Think about it. It's the only thing touching your gun. All right? It's got to be firm, it's got to be consistent, it's got to be repeatable. Thanks. We'll see you on the next one.